Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be doing Unit 13, Lesson 4, and it's called Box Plots. So starting with the do now, it says the weekly salary of 6 employees at McDonald's are $140, $220, $90, $180, $150, $140, and $200. Find the median, minimum, and maximum. So I'm just going to highlight those words because those are important vocab words. Median, minimum, maximum. Now there's two ways that we can do this. We can do this using the calculator, or we can do this by hand. Okay. Honestly, the calculator is probably easier, but I'm going to do both just so you are aware of both scenarios. So if I'm going to do it using the calculator, we've learned in previous lessons that the median, abbreviated as MED, it's the middle when my numbers are in order. Minimum means the smallest number, and it's abbreviated with min, M-I-N. And maximum is abbreviated with max, and it is the largest number. So you can definitely look at this list and figure out the largest number and the smallest number. But if you were doing median, those numbers need to be in order. Okay, so let's just go to the calculator and do it that way first. All right, so once you're in your calculator, when you want these three pieces, you want to hit, stat, edit, and you want to put these numbers in your L1 column. So 140, enter, 220, enter, 90, enter, 180, enter, 150, enter, 140, enter, 200, enter. Again, you want to make sure you have all the numbers in there. Always double check. Now, once I have the list in there, I want to hit stat, go over to calc, 1var stats. You've done this in previous lessons. Go down to calculate it, and then we scroll down and it gives us our information. Okay, so like we said before, the median is MED. I'm just going to move this over here. Well, my MED, my median in my calculator is right here. It's that 150. So $150. My minimum, or my min, M-I-N, in the calculator is 90, my smallest number. And my maximum is all the way at the bottom, 220. So once I do it in the calculator, I have my three answers just like that. Median, minimum, maximum. If I wanted to do it by hand, the first thing I need to make sure of is that these numbers are in order. By hand or without the calculator, I'm just going to put them in order. Well, my smallest number is 90. Then I'm going to cross it off because I know I used it. My next one is 140. Cross it off. My next biggest is 140 again. It's twice. I need to list it twice. 150. 180, 200, and 220. So once they're all listed there, to find the minimum and maximum are pretty easy. Because they're listed in order, well, I know my smallest number must be that first number. So again, my min was 90. Well, that matches what I found in the calculator. My maximum was my biggest, so it should be all the way to the right. 220, which is what we said in the calculator as well. And then my median, that we have to be careful with when we do by hand, is we need to find the exact middle. So what I do usually is I cross off one by one. So one from the front, one from the back. One from the front, one from the back, one from the front, one from the back. The biggest thing you need to make sure of is that these crossouts need to be the same amount on each side. So I have 3 crossed out on the left side, 3 crossed out on the right side. Because they're even, I know that this is directly in the middle. So my median is $150, just like we said using the calculator. So either way is acceptable. But for today's lesson, we're going to be using the calculator anyway. And the same way we got these, we're going to get a little bit more information today in order to create box plots. So let's take a look at our notes. Our new vocab or our new diagram that we're going to learn about today is called a box plot. I'm going to highlight that. It's also called a box and whisker plot. Okay, we use these because it's a good way to summarize large amounts of data. So if you look at this chart right here, this box plot, this is called a box plot. It's also called a box and whisker. Just a little helpful hint as why it's called a box and whisker is we have a box in the middle, and then these two pieces on the side are like whiskers. Okay, they're just lines on the side. Box in the middle, two lines on the side. Okay, that box is made up of Q1, median, and Q3, which we'll talk about in a minute. So box and whisker plot is constructed from a 5-number summary. Now that 5-number summary just means that it's made up of 5 pieces. And the 5 pieces are shown right here for you. A minimum, a Q1, which is a first quartile, median, the middle, Q3, which is a third quartile, and maximum. Okay, so I'm just going to list those here for us. So min, I want to put MIN, because that's what we're going to see in the calculator. And then I'm also going to put minimum. The next one is Q1. That's what we'll see in the calculator. That stands for quartile 1 or first quartile. And the first quartile is the number between the minimum and the median. The third piece is the median, MED. The fourth piece is Q3, which is quartile 3, or we know as third quartile. And again, the Q3 is between the median and the maximum. And then my last piece is max, which is the maximum, the largest number. Okay. So we're going to create these in today's lesson with the data that they give us. On the bottom, there's one more little note. A box and whisker plot provides a picture of the data graphically, which is right here, and separates into 4 intervals that contain 25% of the data. So I'm going to highlight separates into 4 intervals, and I'm going to highlight each contains 25% of the data. And then on my chart up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some percentages. All that means, that statement at the bottom, is that each of these sections, there's 4 sections, from the minimum to the Q1, is represented by 25%. Q1 to median represents 25%. Median to Q3 represents 25%. And Q3 to maximum represents 25% of the data. So each section, each interval, 1, 2, 3, 4, is 25% each. Okay, 25% 4 times is 100%. Just like quarters. Think of these as 4 quarters to make up a whole dollar. The whole diagram. All right, next page. Example 1. Brian collected data on how many meals a week he makes at home. The data is shown below. 8, 9, 11, 12, 18, 10, 14, 13, 12, 10. Okay? Using an appropriate scale and number line below, construct a box plot for the data. Okay, well, before I can create a scale, I need to know my 5-number summary. So it says use your calculator to find the 5-number summary. Okay, well, we're going to use the same thing we used in the do now. We're going to hit stat and then edit. We're going to clear out what we had. So in order to clear, you want to go up so that the L1 all the way up here is highlighted and hit clear. Be careful not to hit delete because then the whole column gets deleted and it's going to mess up our data. So hit clear and then go back down. If you do hit delete and you notice that L1 is gone for some reason, you have to reset the calculator. So you would just do second plus 712. All right, let's enter our data. 8. Now, as I enter it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like a little dot above the number just to know that I already entered that in the calculator. So 8, in case I lose track. Enter. 9, enter. 11, enter. 12, enter. 18, enter. 10, enter. 14, enter. 13, enter. 12, enter. 10, enter. I should also count how many numbers I have total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I usually just write on the side 10 total numbers, because when I go in the calculator, another way to check is highlight that last number that you entered, and this 10 in parentheses means that there's 10 numbers entered, which is correct because we just said that there's 10 total numbers. All right, to get these 5 pieces, this is the most important part for a box and whisker. You must have these 5. So I'm going to hit stat. My numbers are entered. I'm going to hit stat, go over to calc, 1 var stats. I'm going to hit enter. Make sure list says L1. I hit calculate. I scroll down. Those 5 pieces are always together at the very bottom. Okay, so once I go into 1 var stats, I need to scroll, and I'll have those 5 pieces right at the bottom in order. So min, the minimum is 8. Q1 is 10. Median is 11.5. Q3 is 13. And the max is 18. Now that I have my 5 pieces, that's going to help me determine what scale I need to do. So what I always do is I usually use 3 different choices. I usually try to either go by 2s, 5s, or 10s, just because those are the easiest that we can count by. So let's start with 2s and see if it works. My lowest number is 8, right? So if I start this out, I really just need to go a little bit below the 8. So let's see if I start with, you know what? Let's see if I have to start with 8 and get all the way to 18. Okay, so those are my range of where I need to set up my scale. Okay, so let's start with 2 and see if it works. I'm just going to count. I'm not going to write anything yet. But I need to at least get to 18. So if I start with 2 here, or even if I start with 0, so 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. All right, so I will definitely hit the 8 if I'm starting at 0, and I did get to 20, so I know that I'll pass the 18, which is perfect. So let's write that. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. As long as the min and the max fit inside my scale, I'm good to go. I know that my box plot or my box and whisker is going to fit on my scale. Now, as far as creating it, what I need to do is I need to put a dot for each of these 5 pieces. So my minimum is 8, so right above the 8, I'm just going to put a dot. Q1 is 10, I'm going to put a dot. Median is 11.5. So my 11 would be between this 10 and 12, right? This would be 11. So my 11.5 would have to be a little bit past that. So almost at 12, but not quite. Q3 is 13. Again, 13 would have to be in between this 12 and 14. I put a dot. And the max would be 18 all the way over here. I put another dot. Once I have those 5 dots, what I want you to do is put almost like a slash or a line going up and down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I have my 5, the 3 in the middle are what's going to create the box, because I'm creating a box plot which looks like this. So this is just a little drawing for us. It's going to look something like that. Okay, so these 2 are my ends, my min and my max. These middle 3 are going to make up the box. So all I need to do now that I have my lines, connect the bottom, connect the top. Now I have my box created, and I just draw a line for my whiskers. So my box in the middle with the 3 pieces, so the Q1, the median, and the Q3 make up the box. And my whiskers are connecting to my minimum and my maximum. What I also do after I draw them is I write the pieces, I label them. So this is min, Q1, median, Q3, max. The more we label, it will just be, you'll be more comfortable and you'll have it memorized for future questions. Okay, moving on to the next one. Using the number line provided, construct a box and whisker plot for the 12 scores below. So again, my box and whisker plot is going to look something like this. So I need to go to my calculator. Actually, you know, before I go to my calculator, I'm going to write those 5 pieces down. So up here, they set it up for us. They wrote min, Q1, median, Q3, max. Here, they didn't. We need to write down the information. So you must have this information written so we know what you're trying to plot. So min, Q1, median, Q3, and max. Those 5 pieces in the calculator, 5-number summary. So I have to go back to stat, edit, clear out my numbers. So again, go up to L1, hit clear, go back down. 26, enter. 32, enter. 19, enter. 65, enter. 57, enter. 19, enter. 28, enter. 42, enter. 40, enter. 21, enter. 38, and 10. So again, up here they told us that there was 12 scores. So when I go up to highlight that last number, 10 that I entered, it says 12 in here. So that means that there's 12 numbers entered in L1, which is good because there was 12 scores that were listed. All right, let's get our information. Stat over to calc. 1 var stats, I hit enter. Go down to calculate. Scroll down and get my 5 pieces. The minimum is 10. Q1 is 20. Median is 30. Q3 is 41. And the maximum is 65. Now that I have these 5 pieces of information, I can figure out my scale. Well, I see a 10, a 20, a 30, 41, and 65. Well, since this is 10, 20, and 30 right from the beginning, I would think that counting by tens would probably work. But let's just double check. If I start with 0 here and go 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, that would definitely work because I got all the way to 100. So the 65 would fit in there. And I started with 0, so the 10 would fit. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Sometimes it's not always going to work out so nicely that I can always start with 0. So I could have started, in certain cases, like up here, I could have started with 4 because it was below 8. Okay, but here it just worked both times that I was able to start with 0. The scale really depends on what your 5 pieces of information are. All right, so min at 10, I need to make a dot. Q1 at 20, I need to make a dot. 30, I need to make a dot. 41, so not right on 40, but a little bit past it, I need to make a dot. And 65, which is going to be between 60 and 70. A dot. Now, I want the lines, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 2 end ones are going to be my whiskers. So 1 whisker in the beginning and 1 whisker in the back. And then those middle 3 lines connect to make my box. Again, I should label just to help me for the future. Min, smallest number would have been 10 then, Q1, right, 20, median, Q3, it just matches my chart that I wrote down over here, Q3, 41, max, 65. It is very, very important that you write these numbers down so we know what you are trying to plot on your scale. That's it for example 2. Flip the page. All right, example 3, the test scores from Mrs. Gray's math class are shown below. So they give us our data right here. It says to construct a box and whisker plot to display this data. Lucky for us, they already gave us the scale here, so we're good. That's, half the battle. We just need to get the information in the calculator. There's 5 pieces that I need to know. From here, I need to figure out the min. As soon as you see box plot or box and whisker plot, you want to think of those 5 pieces. Okay, this is a list of data, so we're going to put it in L1, and we're going to get those 5 pieces. But that's the key word that you should recognize, box and whisker plot or box plot, to know that those are the 5 we're getting. Clear out what we had in the calculator before. Right, I hit stat edit. Typing in my numbers: 72, 73, 66, 71, 82, 85, 95, 85, 86, 89, 91, and 92. Let's just double check. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 numbers. So if I highlight my last one, that tells me that there are 12 numbers in L1, which is perfect. I go to Stat Calc, 1var stats, hit enter, go down to calculate, scroll down. This also tells me that there's 12 numbers entered, so this N stands for numbers, equals 12, or the amount of numbers. But then if I scroll down, I get my 5 pieces. So min is 66. Q1 is 72.5. Median is 85. Q3 is 90. Max is 95. So again, write them down on the side, and then we go to plot. The scale's there for us, so now we just need to put our points and draw our actual box and whisker plot. 66, a little bit past 65, I'm going to put a dot. 72.5. Well, that's between 70 and 75. So right up there. 85, it's already there for us. 90, it's right there. 95, it's there for us. I have my 5 dots. I want to put my 5 lines. My 2 end ones are the whiskers. My middle 3 are my box. So notice how that median doesn't always have to be directly in the middle of the box. Sometimes it's over to the right of the box a little bit. Sometimes it's towards the left side, like down here. As long as it's somewhere in the box, that's all that matters. Label, min, Q1, median, Q3, max. Again, that's just to help us. They just wanted me to construct, so I am done with example 3. Looking at example 4, the students in Miss Glenn's math class earn the grades shown below. They give us this data. Now it says, which box and whisker plot represents these data? So I have 4 choices here. Let's just look at them first before I go straight to the calculator. So these ones, for 1 and 3, are saying that that first piece all the way to the left, which I know from labeling over and over again, is the minimum, right? That first line is always the smallest number, the minimum. So if this is the minimum, that means it's the smallest number. So I don't have to go on my calculator yet. I can probably look at this list and find the smallest number. It looks like these are in order for us, which is great. So the smallest number in this case is going to be 65, but they're saying it's 60. So I don't think it's going to be choice 1 and choice 3. We're going to check in the calculator anyway and get those 5 pieces. But that was just a quick way to eliminate the first 2, choice 1 and choice 3. Now down here it says 65 and 65. And then it also says the max is 95 because it's between 90 and 100. And the max is 95 over here. Well, I agree that is the max because it's the biggest number in our list. But it doesn't really help me decide which one's correct, 2 or 4. So I got to figure out this Q1, the median, Q3. Okay, I need to decide. So now I'm going to go into the calculator. Hit stat, enter, clear out my data. 65, 70, 70 again, 80, 82. Oh, I'm sorry, 80 again. So 80 twice, then 82, 88, 90, 90 again, and 95. Now I can go to stat, over to calc, 1var stats, and I go to the bottom and check. Okay, well my min is 65. We agreed on that before, right? My Q1 says 70. My median says 81. My Q3 says 90. And my max says 95. So now that I have all those written, I can really get a good look at my diagrams on 2 and 3. So we eliminated 2 and 4. 1 and 3 we eliminated because we already said the min was 65. So now let's look. Well, it says Q1 is 70. All right, well, this says 70 for the Q1. And this says 70 for Q1. Then the median up here says 81. Well, this looks like it's saying 80. And this one looks a little bit further. So I would agree that that one says 81. So I'm thinking it's choice 4, but let's just finish out the rest. Q3 would be 90. Okay, Q3 is saying 90. And Q3 is saying 90 here. And the max 95, it's saying the max is 95 and the max is 95. So choice 4 is correct. Again, knowing how to label these pieces is extremely helpful for these types of questions. Because if you don't know which piece represents which piece up here, like if I don't know where the min, the Q1, Q3 are, then I'm going to have a difficult time with these types of questions. Example 5, in the box and whisker plot below, what is the median? I don't have data to enter into the calculator, I just need to look at the chart. And again, if I know how to label, then I know where the median is. The median is always the one that cuts through the box. So right here, this is my min, Q1. This is always the median, Q3, max. They're always in that order. And the median always cuts through the box. Well, it looks like here is 30, so I'm just going to put down here median equals 30. And then on the next page is where the choices are. So choice 2 says 30, so choice 2 is the median. Okay. All right, your job is to try the closure. They give you a box and whisker plot. They want to know the highest score, and then they want to know the lowest score using this chart. Labeling will help you out with that. And then here, given the 5-number summary below, construct the box plot on the number line provided. So they give you the information, so you don't have to go in the calculator. It's given for you. What you need to do is set up a scale and then plot these to make a box and whisker. Okay? And that's it. Good luck, and we'll see you guys on the next video.